explained all of this already or not. Basically what has happened is, I'm not really sure what's out there in those videos. Basically what happened is we did a whole bunch of work on this truck. I mean, we got this truck good. All the shaking all gone, all the black smoke issues fixed. I got everything all taken care of. Had issues with turbo, got a rebuilt turbo, put that in there. A couple people drove it. I drove it. A couple other people drove it, hauling loads and stuff. Thing was running great. And then we had another driver that came in from Wisconsin, and he brought his truck in, and we had gone through that truck and fixed a bunch of stuff, and he brought it back, and it was beat up bad. Needed a lot of work, and basically the boss told him, said, you're going to have to leave your truck. We're going to put you in a black truck. You go out and run for a week. We'll bring you back in a week. Your truck should be done. He got all upset about that and everything else, and it's like, you know, he just wants to work on it for a couple hours while he's here, then leave, then come back, and we're just going to get it done. So, but he took off, and he left, and he went and slept in a rest area out on the Highway 70. We don't know why. But then he was still in there saying he was going to get his truck back that day. And then later on, the boss was like, no, you're in that black truck for probably a week. So then he came back, and he was all upset, and he got stuff out of his truck, and he put it in here. And then he took off, and he ran on 70, and boom, the turbo went. And that brand new reman turbo went. And I've already figured out what it was. It was the retaining nut for the turbine blade. What they do is they take a draft and they smash the threads on the end of it so it cannot back off. And they didn't do it. I actually found the nut right into the air cleaner. It just came right off. The impeller just spun around, no nut holding on there, just disintegrated everything. And from what we understand, he did not shut the truck off right away. Kept running it. All the oil went out of the engine. All the aluminum fragments from the turbo that blew up all went through the oil cooler, the charge air cooler and everything, all the way over to the intake side. It's been a mess. So this truck's been parked for a while. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do with it and everything else. The boss wants to know where to go from here. He's either going to buy another engine or we're going to rebuild this engine. This truck will not turn over. It turns over really hard and stuff. He ran it out of oil, and so it's really a shame and everything, but it is what it is. So I dropped the oil pan on it, and we were kind of looking up in there and stuff. Didn't really see any pieces and parts, and then I went to go clean out the oil pan to put it back on there. We're going to refill with oil and try to flush everything, and then refill with oil and everything, and try to start it again. And I tipped over the oil pan, and I found half a wrist pin. Wrist pin retainer down in the oil pan, and I was like, we're done. Don't even try to start this engine. So that's where we're at right now. We have to get it apart. I have to get the head off the engine, then drop the oil pan, and pop the pistons out, pull the sleeves out, the liners and everything, and see what's going on. I'm kind of got a bad feeling that one of the wrist pin retainers broke off, and the wrist pin is out, and it hit the liner, the sleeve, whatever you call it. And if that has happened and it's gone up, it's probably hit on it or jarred it. It's probably cracked a liner, and it's probably damaged the block. If that's the case, then we're just going to pull this motor out, and he has a line on another motor that will fit into here, and we'll get that new motor and drop the new motor into here. So basically what I've been doing is I've done this side. I pulled off all the turbo stuff, and I pulled off the EGR cooler and all that stuff. Pretty simple stuff, just a bunch of bolts. It just comes off. Now I got to move over to the other side. I want to get this done tonight, and so that I'm ready to pull the head off, and then tomorrow I can pop the head and then pop the pistons out and stuff, you know. I also got other trucks I got to work on too, so I'm trying to work all this in and everything, but I got to get this done. So I'm going to move on over to the other side. I got pretty much everything done over here. I just got a couple There's out here in Maryland, they have these little bugs. They're called stink bugs. And I guess when you squash them or something, they stink or something. I don't know. Birds don't like to eat them. They're everywhere. And these trucks that are parked out here, you find them everywhere, all in the door creases and stuff. This block here has them all over the place. They're in all these little nooks and crannies. So they're everywhere. All right, so basically everything has to come off this side. Everything down to the head. The fuel rail's got to come off. I've already unplugged the wire harnesses and all that stuff. And all the air intake stuff has to come off, everything. I think that the fuel filter assembly is going to have to come off too. I don't know. I got to get to this air box here. I got to get that off. So whatever I got to take off to get this off, we'll see. I've never worked on a DD15. Never done a rebuild on one. It's pretty simple stuff. You just look at it and do it. So I guess the first step is going to be to take the fuel rail off. I guess I could take that off and pull the fuel rail off of this thing, and then start moving from there. All this other stuff. Start making our way through. Alright guys, I apologize. I have been searching everywhere and everywhere for the video. This stuff was from a couple months ago when I tore all this apart. But I've been searching for it and I can't find it. So we're going to have to do this by pictures. But anyways, I got it all torn down and I popped the pistons out. It's really not that difficult. You just take the connecting rod bolt off, take the cap off, and then usually you use a block of wood and you can just push them up and the pistons pop right out. And I noticed when number one piston came out, the engine rotated. So I knew my problem was with number one. So here you can see that I have all the pistons pulled out. Everything is all pulled out, and I laid them all out in order on a box, and I'll show you that. Now this is where it gets interesting, because this picture was actually a picture I sent to Tracy. And I was actually having a conversation with her, and these were all the pistons laid in order. I had them sitting in a box that was sitting there, and I was trying to figure out what is the problem here. And I was talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, how far are you?" And I snapped a picture, and I sent that to her. And she goes, "I don't know what those thingamabobbers are, but they look complicated." And I was just staring at them as I was talking to her. And she was actually going over the different wraps that she was putting on her snowmobiles. And if you guys have seen that video where I put that wrap on her snowmobile with all the multiple colors. And she chose that one. And I said, "Lady, you are just twisted." And I looked over and I was staring at the thing. And I noticed the connecting rod was twisted. And I said, "Speaking of twisted, I think I just found a problem." And I went over and I looked at it and I said, "Yep." And she said, "Well, make sure you tell your boss I was the one who found it for you, because I'm twisted." So here is some close-up pictures showing the number one connecting rod. You can see it's a little bent, and I'll put some other closer views up here. But then I was like, yep, we have figured out the problem. I really cannot believe that this connecting rod bent this bad and did not break. That's pretty good. It turned out that that piece of metal I think I found down in an oil pan, it got wedged next to the piston up in the liner. It
I pulled the liner out and the block was not damaged at all. It was just the liner, and it got a little scratch on the side of the piston, but it wasn't near the rings. It was down near the bottom. I think it just wedged in there and just wouldn't let it turn over. And we didn't mess with it too much. We tore it apart and investigated it early enough, and we found a problem. So we were able to just go from there and fix it, and not too much damage. So again, I'm sorry. I lost a lot of footage. I don't know what happened, but I'll be starting with the reassembly. The next videos that come out is from when I came back from the UP and started to assemble the whole engine and put it all back together and get the old Black Pony running. So those will be the next videos coming out, and I do have those discs. I do have those. I do apologize. I tried so hard to keep these discs safe and stuff. I've been sitting here just, well, don't touch those, don't touch those. I must have erased it or something. Oh well, life goes on. But we'll catch you guys next time on the assembly of the engine and starting to put it back together and get this Black Pony running. I hope that everybody out there is having themselves a great day, great night as they're watching this here video. And if you're not, certainly try that all over again tomorrow. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.